For Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. President Joe Biden has welcomed France's President Emmanuel Macron to the White House today.
For centuries, we've come together, charted a course toward a world of greater freedom, greater opportunity, greater dignity, and greater peace. Stalwart friends in times of triumph and of trial, France and the United States will meet the future just as we always have, confident in our shared capacity, sustained by the strength of our shared values, and undaunted by any challenge that lies ahead.
Although allies, France has opposed aspects of Biden's signature climate law that Macron says will have an enormous negative impact on European companies. It offers U.S. incentives that favor American-made climate technology, including electric vehicles. The House passed two pieces of legislation to end a strike by railroad workers, imposing a White House negotiated union contract, then beefing it up with 7 days of paid sick leave, a key railroad worker demand. Lawmakers said a strike would be a devastating blow to the nation's economy if the transportation of food, fuel, and other critical goods were disrupted. Christopher Martinez reports.
Joint Resolution 100 includes a 24% pay raise by the year 2024, along with a $5,000 annual bonus and a cap on health insurance premiums. 4 of the 12 unions rejected that agreement because it left out the main sticking point, paid sick leave. Hence, a second resolution. Democratic Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
Then we will have a separate up or down vote to add 7 days of paid sick leave to the tentative agreement.
Several Democrats pointed out that railroad workers have been going to work, sometimes in hazardous conditions, while many Americans sheltered at home during the pandemic. Democrat Jesus Chuy Garcia of Illinois.
There is one thing that the pandemic taught us. It's that we can't keep treating them like they're expendable. A rail strike is unthinkable, and so is a world where rail workers are forced to work, sick or penalized if they take a day off when they're ill.
The two resolutions will go now to the narrowly divided Senate. The first resolution is the more likely to pass. The sick leave measure faces a tougher fight. Reporting for Pacifica Radio News KPFA, I'm Christopher Martinez.
Attorney General Merrick Garland hailed the guilty verdict of 5 members of the extremist group the Oath Keepers for their role in the deadly January 6 Capitol siege this week. He also announced a lawsuit against the state of Mississippi over its water treatment failures yesterday during a press briefing. Edwin J. Vieira reports.
Stuart Rhodes, the founder of the Oath Keepers, was found guilty of seditious conspiracy for his part in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Attorney General Merrick Garland said more must be done.
As the verdict of this case makes clear, the department will work tirelessly to hold accountable those responsible for crimes related to the attack on our democracy on January 6, 2021.
Garland added the Justice Department is working to uncover the legal missteps which led to the neglect of Jackson, Mississippi's water system.
Communities of color, indigenous communities, and low-income communities often bear the brunt of these harms. As we work to fulfill our responsibility to keep the American people safe, to protect civil rights, we will continue to prioritize cases like this one that will have the greatest impact on communities most burdened by environmental harm.
I'm Edwin J. Vieira for Pacifica Network and Public News Service.
Abortion rights advocates say they'll rally at major cities across the U.S. today to mark the 1-year anniversary of the Dobbs court hearing before the Supreme Court, which ultimately led to the overturning of abortion rights in the U.S. The group Rise Up for Abortion Rights says forced motherhood equals enslavement. Actions are planned in several major cities today, including New York, Chicago, San Francisco, Lansing, Atlanta, Honolulu, Austin, and outside the Supreme Court in Washington, D.C. Democrats in the House have a new team of leadership. Hakeem Jeffries of New York will be the party's first black leader.
Each and every day, House Democrats committed to fighting hard for working families, middle-class folks, those who aspire to be part of the middle class, young people, seniors, immigrants, veterans, the poor, the sick, the afflicted, the least, the lost, and the left behind. House Democrats fight for the people. That's our story. That's our legacy. That's our values. That's our commitment as we move forward. Get stuff done. Make life better for everyday Americans.
Pete Aguilar of Southern California will be the party's caucus chair, making him the highest-ranking Latino in Congress. And Catherine Clark of Massachusetts will be the Democratic whip. Also, for the first time, the party will not have a white man in a position of leadership. So far, though David Cicilline is vying for the fourth top post as Assistant Democratic Leader, citing the desire for an LGBTQ face in the team's leadership. Former President Barack Obama will be in Georgia today to rally support for incumbent Raphael Warnock in a runoff race against Republican challenger Herschel Walker. Today marks World AIDS Day to commemorate the millions of lives lost to the epidemic. Ahead of the day, the United Nations released a report called Dangerous Reality, warning it's not meeting its goals to eradicate AIDS by the year 2030. I'm Christina Onnested, reporting for Pacifica Radio.